What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am finally back home after a week vacation in Portugal. You guys, I am telling you, Portugal is probably one of, if not my favorite country that I have visited. I was in the Algarve on the southern coast, and it was just amazing from city to city, village to village. So, unfortunately, while I was away, I wasn't able to recap last week's episode of the show. So I figured, why not go live and talk about it with you guys? Like, very interactive in the flesh, right here, right now. Thank you all so much for being here. As usual, it's so nice to see you here. I see I've got some of my channel members here as well. Hi, Siren, and hi, Jamie. And by the way, you guys, I have a link in my channel membership section. So if you guys want to hop on, share your 2 cents, definitely feel free to do that. So, you guys, are you ready? First of all, if you had to rate last week's episode of Teen Mom OG on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate it as? Because I'm kind of curious. So to me, just sitting here kind of thinking about it, I feel like I would probably rate it maybe a 6.5, leaning towards a 7. But I'm curious to know what you guys thought about the episode. Hi, Charlie, and hi, everybody. Oh, it's nice to see where you guys are all from. I'm seeing Ireland, I'm seeing BC, Canada, Halifax, Canada as well. Hi, Aaliyah. Priscilla, Heather. Okay, awesome. Matt is here as well. 7, better than it has been. Right? I kind of feel like, and then Charlie says it's a 5. So I kind of feel like it's on the precipice where it's kind of like a little slow, but then we're getting into some of the deeper topics. So, for example, when it comes to Macy, she's finally opening up about her PTSD that she suffered as a result of witnessing a gas station shooting. I found the juxtaposition between Amber and Christina going back to school and how that was handled kind of interesting as well. I also noticed that this is probably the first episode of the season, or of the show this season, sorry, where you don't see Ryan and his family. At first this season, I was a little surprised when I saw him, Mimi Jen, Mackenzie, the dad, and all of that. I was like, I thought they said that you guys were not coming back. Like, what are you doing here? But I guess that means that as of right now, moving forward, there will no longer be any of the Edwards family. And I don't really mind that, you guys. I really don't. That does mean, though, that Macy does have to step it up. And I think that she is just about to do that. If this PTSD storyline, the way that it's starting off is to be believed. Hi, Kim. She's from Memphis. I love you guys' accents over there in Memphis, by the way. And Alexis is here. I wish I could vote, but I literally only watch recaps as it's pretty boring. I do not blame you, Alexis. You are not missing out on that much. But for any of you guys who do want to watch the show in the future or anytime, there is a VPN that you can use in order to watch it from anywhere in the world. You guys know I'm in France. I watch it from here, connect through Canada, and then go to ctv.ca to watch it. So it is an affiliate link, by the way, and it is in the description box down below of this video. So let's start from the very beginning of the episode. So we start off, guys, Cheyenne is not having a good year. She's really not. Like, she's looking like a mess every single episode this season, and I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for her. So her sister R, literally the letter R is her name, apparently, tells her that she and her son Boz are moving to DC to be with her baby daddy, because the baby daddy and her decided that they kind of wanted to work things out. So this is the part where I get so excited that I'm doing the chat with you, because I don't know. Did R always have this long distance relationship with the father of Boz, or did the father of Boz have to move? I feel like I remember hearing something about him having to move to DC for a job. I don't know if he's an athlete or some sort or something like that. But I think that that's what they said. Like, is that why he's in DC, or were they always long distance? And I got a question for you guys as well. If your sister told you, think about this, you've got a young kid, another on the way, and then your baby daddy is going off to film his show for months on end or whatever. So you're going to have a 4-year-old by yourself. Actually, no, with your partner or whatever. And then you're pregnant. And then your child has always grown up with your sister's child. And now she all of a sudden wants to up and leave and go to like the next city to be with her boyfriend. And you're not sure it's going to work out. Would you have reacted the same way that Cheyenne reacted? I'm really curious. Or was she being a little bit selfish? Because Cheyenne's reaction when the sister told her that was that it's not a good idea, basically. But the first thing that she said wasn't even about Ryder. Later on in the episode, she talks about how this is going to impact Ryder. But at the beginning, she's complaining about how, like, she's pregnant and, Corey's going away to film the challenge. So it seemed as though for her, it was more about like how this is going to impact her childcare. So from that angle, I felt that it was a little bit selfish, like what she was saying to her sister. But from the Ryder and Boz growing up so close in the same house forever as siblings, I get why she would have been a little bit disappointed to see her sister leave to go pursue this, seemingly shaky relationship. Yes. So let's see. Okay, her and her mom handled that terribly. Cheyenne was being very selfish. What else is going on? Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing this. Okay. Was Zach even mentioned? No, she kind of acts as though she is raising Ryder as a single mom, which is quite interesting because she does live with Zach as well. It's a 4-person home, herself, her sister, and the 2 babies, and then the new baby to come. But she never really mentioned Zach or anything like that. Jamie says, I think Shy was overstepping hardcore and I felt super bad for R. Boz needs a dad. I agree. I really do agree. By the way, thank you so much, Jamie. It's so nice to have you here. So, you guys, next up, Mackenzie. If you watched my last recap, you know that I really dread Mackenzie's scenes. I feel like they're always so miserable. There's never any balance of like good going in with the bad. So here we are again in the miserable state, right? So her child Bronx is out here still hitting people in school. And apparently he keeps hitting his teacher's butt and calling the kids in the school butt crack hoes. And when I heard that, I was like, well, what the heck is going, like, where would he learn that? Listen, hitting whatever. It's like, yes, kids start hitting, like, and then you correct them not to do it. But why is he still doing it? And then the butt crack hose. Listen, butt crack, okay. But hose, especially butt crack hose, where is that coming from? Like, I am kind of like, listen, I don't like when we focus too much on the kids because I don't want to comment on them. They're so young and like, they don't know any better. You know what I mean? But I was like, sorry, girl, you really need to step it up in the discipline department. We're going to get to this a little bit more later on, but she admits when she's talking to the therapist that she doesn't really get involved with disciplining the kids. So it's kind of like, well, no wonder, right? Because she moved over to Florida with them while Josh stayed in Oklahoma for a bit. And so it was just her. And it's like the kids just have you. They're going through the loss of their grandma and everything. And you're just not disciplining them at all while they're like expressing their loss in the morning in this way. Not a good idea. What does Jaleesa say here, by the way? She says, based off their YouTube channels, I think that Cheyenne hates Boz's dad. Wow, he's super bogus to poor R. Well, that makes a lot of sense then. Like, that's so sad. Yeah, that's from that perspective, I can get why Cheyenne is disappointed because she knows, or she thinks, she heavily suspects that this relationship is not going to work out. So it sucks to see her sister hopeful, moving herself and her kid out to another state with no support system for somebody who hasn't really been taking her seriously. Like, I get it from that perspective. You know what I mean? So sorry, you guys, I choked on my breath there. But heading back down south to Tennessee, Macy still is not ready to pump her own gas at the gas station. She's still very much traumatized from being involved in a gas station shootout, which I completely understand. And it's very serious, you guys, especially for her mom to make a cameo on the show to talk to her about it. Her mom has never really been on the show since like the early season. She's not really into it. So her mom is sitting there and talking to her, about like how she can like take steps to move forward and everything. And I personally was happy to see more of Macy's family. Ryan has always been like a package deal with his family, whereas Macy has always kind of been like a lone wolf. with Taylor and their kids, you don't really see her talking to a mom. You know what I mean? So it's nice to know that she's got that kind of support, especially when it comes to what it is that she is going through at the moment. We've got a super chat from Lacey. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lacey. She says, I can't stay for the full live. I just wanted, oh, by the way, I see you. Namaste. I'm going to pull you in a second, by the way, girl. I just wanted to say you look amazing as always, Grace. Love seeing you and hearing your voice. Thank you so much, Lacey. It is so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for the super chat and for staying, the little bit that you are able to. Namaste. Sorry about that. I think my system might have booted you out. If you want to call back in, definitely feel free to. So you guys, I have to say, when it comes to Macy and her PTSD thing, I really sympathize with her on it. Like, I cannot imagine, being involved in something like that. And like, a gas station is something that you need to constantly be at if you have a car. So that had to have been incredibly disruptful to her everyday life. Like the camera people showed the gas running on E and everything, and she talked about how Taylor's the one who always goes to the gas station to fill up her car and her tank. And I'm just thinking, like, can you imagine living like that? Like, that is not easy at all. I genuinely feel heartbroken for her when it comes to that. And I'm really proud to see her, like Matt is saying here, delve more into her own personal life and her own personal struggles. My number one issue with Macy has always been the way that she hides behind her son, Bentley, and all of his personal struggles. So, while it's sad, it is nice to see this new side of her where, you feel like you have a more in-depth picture of her as a person versus her as a mom, if that makes sense, you guys, Siren says, very happy to see Macy's mom again. Wasn't it nice? It felt a little bit nostalgic almost. You know what I mean? Like, yes, here she is. By the way, her mom has a very, very like beautiful head of hair. Like, her hair is so thick and curly and beautiful. Jamie says, yeah, Macy's mom is so beautiful. She hasn't aged since 16 and pregnant. I love seeing her. Me too. It was so freaking nostalgic. It was awesome. Hi, Mia. Nice to see you here and alive. So, you guys, in Michigan, I'm kind of curious what you guys felt about Tyler's ketamine treatment. To me, it sounded like a mushroom trip or an acid trip or whatever it is. He talked about like seeing his younger self, his shadow self, putting the younger him like on his shoulder and everything. I don't know. Like, the last time I talked about this in a recap, some of you guys told me that like you were familiar with ketamine treatments. I don't know whether or not you guys personally did the ketamine treatments, or if you know of people, or if it was suggested to you, but I don't know too much about it. All I know is that some of the studies, when I did some research, said that it can help, but there's no proof that it is a long-term help. And I'm kind of curious, like, whether this can become a form of an addiction for some people sometime. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it sounds a little bit like a trip, like a psychedelic trip. So I'm wondering, is that like a vibe or a feeling that like someone might get into and might look for in ketamine treatments or might look for in psychedelic drugs? I'm curious. Hi, just the tea, please. It's nice to see you, girl. And Lo, welcome to your first live. You guys, yeah, isn't that crazy? Some of you guys are saying this should be the last season of the show. Honestly, listen, I don't blame you. First of all, this retreat thing that's happening with Farrah, I don't know if you saw my video about the drama there. That is looking like it's gonna be good. If Farrah brings in the ratings the way that we think she will, I feel like they might bring her back on to Teen Mom OG. So, you guys, let's see. Sorry, let me stop right here. First, Jessica says, I'm wondering why his doctor went straight to that ketamine treatment and didn't try traditional medicine first. See, here's the thing, Tyler refused traditional medicine before even trying it. So to me, I would wonder why a doctor would allow someone who hasn't even tried traditional medicine to jump right into what I'm labeling a psychedelic. It might not be a psychedelic, but it's just what it sounds like to me. Yeah, I don't know why a doctor would have allowed him to jump to that step, because listen, getting high is not like a 24/7 thing. You know what I mean? Like, your high only lasts so long. So he is talking about seeing his past self and maybe connecting with it and like nurturing it to help him in his current self. But when it comes to actual therapy and long-term medicine to help stabilize your mood and stuff like that, I don't know that they can compare when it comes to the long term. I really wonder how long each treatment can last somebody or how frequently. Like, this is very interesting. I should do a little bit more research into this, you guys, for next week's episode, because, it's a very deep topic. Mai says they do all these treatments, but what exactly does Tyler do in his day-to-day life to change his habits and his lifestyle? You see, this is a very good question, because if you recall in the episode, Caitlin basically admits that she's not really doing much on the day to day. She talks about how she's still taking her mood stabilizers, which is great. But she's like, Tyler being in treatment kind of motivates me. Like, maybe I should still be talking to somebody to help me. Like, they don't really seem to be into the whole long term, holistic, overall general thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe medicine, Kate wants the traditional, Tyler wants the ketamine stuff. But when it comes to the actual day-to-day talking with somebody to make sure that your progress is being monitored, I don't think that that's their thing. And I feel like, maybe they should pay a little bit more attention to it. Alexis says, as someone who's not exactly neurotypical, I've had psychedelics help reset my brain. Legalized mushrooms are next up for sure. Not well versed in ketamine, but mushrooms are the future. LOL. See, I guess it all just depends on what, each person is dealing with and like how their own genetic makeup is and everything. But I find it so fascinating, you guys. So, by the way, Charlie says that ketamine is a raving drug here in England and you can't get it on prescription. So what is it like? Is it like a shaman or something like that who is monitoring you as you go on this like little, not this little, that sounds condescending, sorry. Monitoring you as you go on this ketamine trip? Like, I'm really curious about what it is. I will try to watch like some videos or something on that to see like how it is that he's doing. So you guys, in Indiana, Amber wants to get a master's or a doctorate degree in neurological psychology one day. So she talks about how she's going to be applying to go to Purdue University for a degree in neurological psychology. Spoiler alert, she ultimately ends up getting in, which we all already know based off of social media. And, I'm kind of curious, do you think that she will, first of all, get her 4-year degree in this subject? And if she gets it, do you think she will go towards a master's and a doctorate? I am very curious. It does kind of remind me, you guys, of Kale. Remember, after Kale got her communications degree, she started posting about how she wanted to go to nursing school, and then she was talking about how she was studying for the LSAT, and then she was talking about maybe getting an MBA, but you never really heard much about like any of that coming to fruition later. Farah, she's doing some online stuff that you pay for from Harvard. Like, it's not, you know what I mean, like getting into a grad program or whatever, but she's claiming that people are hiring MTV stars are calling her, asking her to be their lawyer. Like, is this something that they're actually going to end up doing? Or is this something that like she'll kind of do for a little bit and then maybe not keep up with that? As far as I'm aware, Amber so far has been doing decently in her courses on Instagram. Sometimes she posts about like her grades, and she seems to be doing pretty decently in her grades. I'm seeing NS says that Amber needs to get her mental health on track before she tries to help somebody else. And you know what? In speaking about that, I feel like this might help her. I think that what a lot of these people on this show lack is anything to look forward to work towards, or to struggle towards. Like, regular people like you and I, we've got jobs, we've got businesses, we've got whatever, getting us out of bed every day. But the people on these shows, they literally just wake up, and then for their job on the show, they complain about the past. They're constantly living in the past. So they're not really like studying. They're not really like working. They're not really doing anything that would give them a sense of purpose and drive and would help stabilize their moods or like, anything like that. So I think that this probably would help in the long run. And at least I hope it does. And I really hope that she ends up sticking with it. Hey, Trisha, nice to see you here. Matt says he thinks it'll take her a while or she'll get special assistance. Listen, when Kale was studying for her communications degree as well, too, it took her a while. I think it took her, like 5-6 years to get her degree or something like that. And then she definitely did have a lot of help, getting to bring the kids to school and everything. I remember those kids being bad as HELL in class, just distracting everybody. But listen, she ultimately wound up getting it done. Although I know quite a few of you guys suspect that she paid for her degree. Remember, after she got that degree, before she got her degree, she was talking about how she was failing out of like pretty much every class, and she went to see a guidance counselor and everything. And then before you know it, she's offering up a scholarship to people in the school or something like that. And then before you know it again, she's finally graduating. So people were very suspicious about that. But I digress. That is just the rumors, you guys. It is just the rumors that I was hearing. So listen. Now we're back in Mackenzie's scene, and she talks to her husband, Josh, about their son, Bronx, being a school ground terror of sorts. And Josh is so like unbothered with it. Like he doesn't take it seriously at all. He's like, listen, Bronx is a boy. He's gonna grow out of it. And Mackenzie is pushing to investigate the source of Bronx's issues or whatever, but Josh really doesn't even want to look at it. And I'm sorry, I could never be married or co-parenting or whatever with someone like that who's just so ignorant and just so like in the past, it's just so old school the way he thinks about things. They'll grow out of it. Psychological problems don't exist, mental problems don't exist, kids can't be dealing with stress, this. Like, I really don't like the way that he was basically shrugging her off. And I hope that Mackenzie does push through and put Bronx in some kind of therapy and call it a day on her own. Because, what she's talking about happening with Bronx excessively hitting people, even after teachers are trying to correct him, constantly smacking his teacher in the butt, calling his classmates butt crack hoes, to me doesn't sound normal. And, I'm glad that she is kind of like thinking about what it is that she can possibly do to correct that. So Shikisa says, I love how they see clear signs that their kid is violent and Josh is just shrugging it off. Crazy, right? This isn't a boys will be boys thing. He has some issues that he's dealing with. And thankfully, Mackenzie is not relenting this time around, because if it were up to Josh, Lord knows where he would be. Anderson says he always just disregards the kids' behaviors and makes excuses. It's true. I remember him doing that last season as well, and it just drives me nuts. Listen, it's the same way he makes excuses for his own behaviors. Like, he treats Mackenzie like garbage, but he's kind of like always like just explaining it away like it's nothing, right? Or it's normal, the ups and downs of marriage, when it 100% is not. Trisha says, Josh gets on my nerves when it comes to Bronx. Me too. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like he takes it personally whenever someone says, hey, listen, something might be up, but this is how we can help. He's not listening to the, this is how we can help. He's listening to the, oh, something's up, something's wrong. Maybe he's like, my genes are not broken. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a fan of it at all. But, speaking of therapy, in Tennessee, Macy does a virtual therapy session and talks about constantly reliving the gas station incident in the shower. And wow, the rumination, I cannot imagine constantly replaying a shootout in my head, and she can't stop it. Like, that's the thing when it comes to rumination, you really cannot help yourself. So she's doing the session virtually. And so the therapist basically advises her to think about all the ways that she saved herself in that moment instead of just seeing herself as the hopeless victim. And I thought that was amazing advice, that can help empower Macy and maybe even stop the cycle of rumination for her as well. Like, I really loved the piece of advice that she gave Macy, and I hope that Macy takes it to heart and applies it to her life as well. It's going to be difficult at first, but listen, she really does need to give herself a pat on the back for all of the things that she did in that shocking situation. When the therapist told her that, Macy's like, you know what? Like, I did get down on the ground. I did call 911. I did find a bathroom. I did lock the deadbolt. I did do all these things. And it's like, yes, girl, you did. Good for you. Just remember all of the amazing things that you did, how smart you are and how brave you are in that moment. Now, okay, so I'm seeing you guys are talking about the Josh thing. Okay, yeah, you guys are like, listen, he just doesn't want to do it. He knows he's a part of the problem. No discipline. He doesn't want to see anything that's wrong with his child, and it's like, listen, things will only get worse if you don't handle it while you can. He takes it very offensively, and that's just not the way that it should be done. So What about an interview with Giselle or Robin would you consider? Oh my God, the Green Eyed Bandits. I don't know, girl. I will be on live with Layla Lynn, and Campfire Daily on Campfire Daily's channel at 1:30 p.m. EST, though, you guys, to talk about Giselle and Robin. I probably would, but I don't think that they would like to do it with me because I would be holding their feet to the fire. So, you guys, and yes, Gabrielle, that is correct. Josh did ultimately end up feeling better after talking to that therapist, which I'm like, thank God, that he actually is open to it after it does happen. So, you guys, I'm seeing a message here about Leah Messer being pregnant. Oh my God. AJ's mom, are you sure? Okay, you guys, hang on. Leah Messer pregnant. If she got knocked up this quickly, I'm going to have a heart attack. Are you kidding me? No, these are just rumors so far. I'm seeing an article from The Sun. It says that she was responding to pregnancy rumors. Let me share my screen with you guys. Sorry, just a little bit of a pause here to clear up the pregnancy rumors about Leah Messer. So Leah Messer, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is nobody, I'm sure everybody knows, she is from Teen Mom 2. And she's dating this guy who's a very well-educated, very successful man. And I guess there are pregnancy rumors because, listen, it's Leah. She's been with the man for over a couple of months. So pregnancy or moving in or engagement has to be next. But apparently she recently responded to the rumors, but no, she is not pregnant, you guys. She put a PSA 7 days ago saying, PSA, I'm not pregnant, just bloated, the poor thing. Oh, you guys. So let me just remove that and hop on back over here. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the juxtaposition between Christina and Amber talking about going back to school. Did you guys notice this at all? Like when the episode was playing? Because first we have Christina doing Leah's hair, just like being the mom that she is to Leah, right? She's curling her hair, she's brushing her hair, and she's talking to her about going back to school and how she lost her parents when she was very young. She was 18 years old when she lost her dad, and 16 years old when she lost her mom. And I realized she lost one of her parents to suicide, I believe it was, but I didn't know she was an orphan, and especially not so young. Like that was so sad, to see. And so she talks to Leah about how, when her mom was alive, what she told her was that her mom always told her that no one will ever be able to take away your education, which I think is really important to tell to kids. Because I remember my mom always telling me that as well, and so many of my friends' moms, and of course we all went on to have higher education. So it is important to have these conversations. But then on the flip side, you have Amber. She's not talking to Leah, about going back to school or anything like that. She's sharing that moment with her own mom. And, I just found it kind of empty and kind of sad, it's like, wow, this is how in the down the drain, in the gutter, your relationship is with your biological daughter, that you can't even talk to her. You can't even share the excitement of, going back to school, something as amazing as going to university and inspiring her or anything like that. You failed so bad that you can't even have that conversation with her because she doesn't want anything to do with you. That would break my heart into a million different pieces. I don't know about you guys, but it absolutely would. Here's one thing that I find really interesting about Amber and her mom. Listen, Leah is not ready to forgive Amber for everything that she's done wrong in her life. But I find it interesting that Amber is ready to forgive her mom after her mom did so many awful things to her. Remember, they were on marriage boot camp or family boot camp together when Amber was still dating Matt. And she talks about how her mom stole upwards of $30,000 from her to go gambling and stuff. I'm like, wow, it's amazing to me that on the flip side, she's forgiven her mom for some of these things that she's done to her, and apparently I think she accused the mom of selling stories about her to the tabloids and everything. She might not be a good mom or anything like that, but she is quite forgiving as a daughter. I have to give that to her. She forgave that woman almost instantly. I don't know, y'all, if it could be me. Now, going back down to LA, what happens, you guys? Cheyenne, remember, she was pissed off about her sister wanting to move to DC to be with her baby daddy. And so she, for her sister, calls the mom and says, listen, I need you to come back with Ryder early. You know, R wants to tell you something, which I didn't think was fair to the sister. The sister was going to tell when she was good and ready, but Cheyenne was so pissed off about it that she insisted on calling the parents or whatever and telling them to come over for R to make the announcement when she wasn't ready to. And I felt like that was not her place, you know? So basically, our Kyle, I'll call her Kyle because our, you know, Kyle announces the big move to the family, and Cheyenne calls her selfish and says that the baby daddy should be the one to move to LA to be with them. Listen, I don't think it's fair to call R selfish for the decision that she's making. You know, R is doing the best that she can with the information that she has right now and the feelings that she has right now for her child. She's putting her child first. I'm sure that R does not want to move states away from everything that she has in LA, her sister, her niece, you know, her upcoming nephew, her parents, her friends to be in DC. But she's thinking, listen, this is the last shot to make things work to give my child a two-parent home. So for her to call her selfish to me was very, insensitive. I feel like if I don't think, first of all, I don't think Cheyenne would do this for Zach. Okay. But if Corey wanted to be with Cheyenne and told her, listen, we got to be in New York because I'm always there, like for a challenge or whatever, reunions and stuff, I think that Cheyenne would have made the move to New York in a New York minute. Right. So it just sucks, you guys. It really just sucks from that perspective. And so, listen, the mom is just not impressed about the big move in the middle of a pandemic, but at the same time, I don't know. Listen, she's going to be moving solo, I guess. She's going to rent a car and drive to DC. Like, she's not being a super spreader by moving. I personally don't believe. Maybe she was vaccinated at the time. I don't know, but I don't know. I felt like the mom was kind of grasping at straws there. But again, I do understand Cheyenne's angle when she said that Ryder grew up with Boz basically as a sibling. They've lived together the whole lives. And but then she kind of ruined it for me when she said that Kyle was going to go play with Maz in DC. Really? She's going to go play with a child's husband in DC. I felt like Cheyenne had a lot of freaking nerve to say that when she's the one who swung on her baby daddy, had him raising another man's child, and then left him for, the other man's the child's father, right? She left him for Corey after all he did, helping her through her pregnancy in the first year of Ryder's life. And then, in my opinion, she verbally abused that man too. So if anybody's playing around, with something that, let me stop there before I get too mean with it. It's Cheyenne. So I felt like she was just so condescending, and she was doing it from such a glass house, considering, the cluster FUCK that is her own relationship. Savannah's got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Savannah. She says Cheyenne was kind of right because R and Macy are or is it Maze or Maze are not currently together anymore. Whoo-wee. She probably knew the relationship wasn't the best. Listen, she is, I think, like I said a little bit earlier, I think I get it from the perspective where she knew it wasn't going to work out. But listen, sis, her own relationship, Cheyenne's relationship, her engagement to me is shaky as well, but at the same time, devil's advocate for Savannah, it's not like she's going to be it's not like Cheyenne moved out of state to be with this Zach guy. So R moved to DC to be with this Maze guy, right? And she's pregnant again, and the relationship didn't work out. Whew, that makes me sad, you guys. It makes me sad. I feel really bad about all of these kids growing up in broken homes. It's just so normalized. It really is. It's unfortunate. Like, really, how did you get knocked up by this man again? How are people still getting knocked up by accident? I really, truly, genuinely don't understand it. Remember when I made that joke in one of my videos last year? I was like, listen, the way these teen mom girls or people in general just keep accidentally getting knocked up, I'm like, am I infertile? Like, what is going on here? Like, what? It's really not that hard to not get pregnant, you guys. So I just don't understand it. So for her now to be a single mom of 2 kids away from her family, I hope that man will at least let her move back to LA. Has she moved back to LA, you guys? A mess. And to top it off, she's pregnant by the man, And she's not even with him through the pregnancy. You couldn't even make it to the birth of this. A mess, you guys. A freaking mess. I can't believe it. I don't even know what to say. That's disappointing. So Cheyenne was right after all. She could have been nicer about it, but she was right after all. But at the same time, I don't think that Kyle was selfish to go out there and try to make it work for the kid. Getting knocked out by this man again, though, maybe. And like someone said a little bit earlier, the dad was pretty much the only one who was supportive of the move. It was Jamie who said that. Yeah, the dad was pretty much the only one who was supportive of the move. And yeah, like it was nice for R to have at least somebody who was supportive, but it sucks that this is how it went down. Noisily says the pullout method has worked for 4 years for me. I don't understand how these women are so fertile. I swear, girl, I really don't get it either. I swear. If you're not like, at least count the days or something. I don't know, y'all. Something. Amen. These babies without the dad's present. It's sad. It's so sad. All this information and the studies being done on like how kids fare in like 2-parent households versus 1-parent households, present fathers versus fathers who are not present, even if the moms are broken up. It's sad. Hi, Mary. Nice to see you. I always love your icon. It's just so like futuristic. It's so fun. Pink says, I grew up with the first Teen Moms, haven't watched in 2 years. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It's so awesome to talk to you guys. I love going live every once in a while to discuss the show with you guys. It's so much fun. So now, you guys, we're going back up to Michigan. I have a comment about Tyler's mother. First of all, Tyler was talking about all the things that he saw when he was dealing with his younger self on his like psychedelic or like ketamine. I don't want to, is it rude to say ketamine trip, on his ketamine experience? And he talks about how like, it brought up memories of how when he was molested as a child and he's told his mom about it, the mom smacked him. I was ready to fight Dusty ASS Kim right then and there. You smacked your child when he came to you and told you that he was molested, girl? This is the same dumb woman who was out there on television talking about, I voted for this person because if I didn't, then US would become a communist country. I was like, I know you're dumb, right? But for her to be this dumb, you guys, wow. I am ready to fight her. Like my blood, even talking about it, is boiling for Tyler that he had to deal with this. Like what the hell? No wonder he has the emotional and psychological problems that he has with a parent like that. No one. It is so unfair, you guys. It is absolutely unfair. And for her to be as judgmental as she is towards Caitlin, really, oh my God. I cannot believe that happened. Like I knew that happened to Tyler. He talked about it, I think in a book or something like that, being one of his sister's friends or whatever. But I didn't know that this is what happened when he went and told his mother about it. You guys, I'm disgusted. Absolutely disgusted. So listen, now we're back in Mackenzie. Is Mackenzie still in Florida? She's in Florida, right? She didn't stay in Oklahoma for this or whatever. So she's in Florida, I guess, and she gets Josh to join the Skype call that she's got with the therapist about Bronx's violence. So first of all, she shows off Bronx to the therapist for a bit. I thought it was adorable when Bronx is like, okay, bye, love you. I was like, I think he's just so used to like, that with his parents and everything that he was just like, all right, bye you guys, love you, to the therapist as well. It was adorable. And, I felt like the therapist did a really good job with her very positive and bubbly energy of kind of like cracking through to Josh even, right? Like she was just so enthusiastic and positive about, Bronx. She wasn't like, oh, your child is violent, we're going to fix him. We're there, she's like, listen, stuff is going on. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be okay. And I think that, that really cracked open Josh because maybe he felt like the therapist was going to tell him that he failed as a father or something like that. For CC and anybody else who just joined, we're talking about how Tyler mentioned that when he was molested as a child, he told his mother about it and his mother smacked him for telling her. and didn't do anything about what actually happened. Yeah, it's very disgusting. It's very disturbing and it's very sad. So now, when it comes to the therapist appointment, Mackenzie admits that Josh is the one that disciplines the kids, and like how, it was especially difficult when she moved away from Josh and she was just with the kids, and no one was disciplining them. I was like, are you proud of that? Like, you're not going to talk about how you want to change that and form some structure for your kids? Because you can't complain about your kids acting out because they don't have structure and discipline from you, and then just casually talk about how they don't have structure and discipline from you and not talk about how you're going to change that. Like, that was very weird to me. Thanks so much for the support. What's eating you? Thanks so much for dropping by. Yeah, you guys, the whole thing is just so whack. I really didn't like the way that she just casually said that, and didn't really, have anything else to say moving forward. So again, they talk about how Bronx is going through a lot, losing his grandma, watching her deteriorate over the years as well. And, having this big move away from the dad. Yes, Jack is there now, but I mean, not Jack, Josh is there now, but, like he was away from a while. Hi, I'm Kenji. So nice to have you here. And so, you guys, let's see. Now we're going down to the final few scenes of the episode. And so Kyle's family decides to all sit down in their theater room, the wealth of it all, and FaceTime her baby daddy. Listen, I knew he was not SHIT, not serious about her, when the family asked, like, is this a serious thing? Are you open to, like, are you thinking of like getting married and like, being a serious family? This man says, oh, I'm open to marriage. Not, oh, yes, I really want this to be for real this time. I want to be with Kyle and my son in the same house forever. I want us to be a family unit, and this is how I'm going to make it happen, or this is my time. You know what I mean? Like, nothing. He's like, oh, I'm open to marriage. I was like, sit down somewhere. I would have called him out right there and then. Like, if that was like my sister and her man talking about, I'm open to marriage. Are you kidding me? Open? And she's about to uproot herself away from the whole family. My kid, my other kid, she's not even going to be around for my other kid the way that she was from the other one, the first one. And you're open to marriage? Not even you're planning to get married to her. You're planning to be a family reunion. No, I was not a fan. I was not a fan. So, when you guys tell me that they break up and the girl is pregnant by him and he's not even around for the pregnancy or whatever, I'm not surprised. So now going back over to Indiana, Amber again gets into Purdue University. I don't know if I said this or not earlier, you guys, but it turns out that this is a legitimate university. I'm not that familiar with it, so I had to look online because sometimes these girls get into these degree mills. Like, sorry, you guys. Like, remember Janelle? She got into this like degree mill or something like that, and she graduated from there and didn't do her certification after. So I did my due diligence, and this is legit. Now, sorry, you guys have a little bit of a delay from me. So now I'm just seeing some of your other comments roll in. Juju says, listen, you can't complain about anything and not change it up. Ain't that the truth, girl? In reference to Mackenzie on Bronx. Yes. Oh, you want me to do a live recap tomorrow again? Okay. I'll try my very best to do a live recap again. Actually, I'll have to do it. When does this show air? Is it on Mondays or Tuesdays? Because I have to do it the day after because I look at it online on ctv.ca. By the way, if you guys want to do the same, watch these things online. I've got a link to the VPN that I use in the description box down below, which, by the way, is an affiliate link. So Spudster says, did R not have this conversation before having his kids? Listen, the way people move these days, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes people just, they want the kids so bad that they don't care if the relationship's not going to work out. I'm looking at Portia Williams for Housewives of Atlanta. She knew it wasn't going to work out with Dennis, but she knew she was getting up there in age, so she wanted a kid. R is not getting up there in age, but you know how these teen mom world people go. They go, oh my God, I'm over 24. I need to have another kid. I'm getting old, right? Or I don't want too much age distance between my kids, so I don't care if my relationship's not going to work out. I'm just going to pop one out, So I don't know. Like, I feel like she probably knew. And she just said, listen, whatever. I need to get another kid out of this guy. I want both my kids to have the same dad, that type of stuff, right? By the way, thank you guys. Tuesdays. Whatever happened to Mondays or a mother? Why is it Tuesdays again? Okay, whatever, you guys. By the way, speaking on our being pregnant and alone yet again, and then like Cheyenne and her situation, not even knowing who the baby daddy is. It is just so funny because I remember how condescending their mom was when Taylor was coming on the scene. Remember when they first joined the show? They go, Cheyenne, you need to pull Taylor aside and have a full conversation with her because, you want to know who your child is around, which is normal, whatever. But then she says something real slick. She goes, because you don't know how all these other people are raised. Well, how were your daughters raised, sis? Because just looking at the way they turned out, I really want to know, especially with the stuff that, has come to light about Cheyenne on the show, in my opinion, verbally abusing Zach, and what we've seen in past seasons of her literally physically shoving him. How were they raised? Interesting, right? How that works out. Now, in the final scene of the episode, Macy feels ready to go to the gas station, and it was very gut wrenching to watch her like slowly pull up there, not even be able to get out of the car or anything like that, and just basically have an anxiety attack as she pulls up. Listen, gun violence is awful. It's awful. I hate that it's normalized. I hate that it's common for so many people in certain areas to just walk around, guns strapped to them or whatever, it's sad. It's sad. Even in places where guns are illegal, people do still have access to them. And that is sad. I really hate that. I hate that for all of us. What's Eating You says, do I watch Housewives? Yes. In fact, I'm doing a Housewives recap on Kempire Daily, Kempire, his channel with Layla Lynn live at 1:30 p.m. EST today. So that's in maybe 30 minutes, 40 something minutes. If you want to hop by, we're doing Housewives of Potomac. And I got to get caught up on Housewives of Salt Lake City to do a live recap on that as well. I love that show. So Cheyenne has 2 kids. Now she wants 2 kids. What a weird dynamic. I do notice a little something odd about their dynamic as well. Maybe a little like you said, Paula. Sorry, I'm freezing you guys. I was spending my week in Portugal. I was with my friend here in France, and she doesn't speak English. So we were just spending the whole week in French. So now my brain is kind of freezing, trying to get my vocabulary back. Yes, Cheyenne treats that man like CRAP. Shy has unfortunately been a hypocrite when dealing with Taylor. Yeah, because Cheyenne was scared of Taylor being around Ryder because, Taylor has said racist things online. Meanwhile, at the time, Cheyenne had already said a lot of racist things online herself. Listen, Jubes, it was said that they were getting paid $20K per kid baby bonus for the show. Some of that tea was spilled a little bit too. Yep, butterfly, pink butterfly. Cheyenne doesn't respect Zach, and she never has. I believe that as well. That's why I said, listen, if Corey told her we're moving to New York, she would pack up and move. But if Zach needed to move somewhere, nope, wouldn't happen. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what went down on last week's episode of Teen Mom OG. I had so much fun talking about it with you live. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for your super chats as well. I'm looking forward to it's so fun doing it live, you guys. I think I'm looking forward to doing another live recap of this week's episode. So it airs on Tuesday, which means I'll watch it on Wednesday morning, and I'll get to do a recap with you guys a little bit later on Wednesday as well. As always, thank you so freaking much for being here. It is so fun, getting to chat with you live. I hope you guys are all taking good care of yourselves and just, living your best lives, y'all. Living your best lives, okay? I'll see you all again on Wednesday live for Teen Mom OG. And then I'm going to watch Young and Pregnant and try to do a recap of last week's episode tomorrow. It's getting late here, you guys. It's almost 7 p.m. Paris time. So I don't know if I'll be able to watch it and do a recap of it live today, but tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.